Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla TV. You can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new REVIT Ladies Bellecour leather jacket, available at RevZilla.com. REVIT in the past has done the Roamer, which has been your classic moto jacket for women. They've also had the Ignition, which is going to be your multi-season leather mesh. This is the Bellecour, which takes that leap into that sub $500 moto fashion-inspired hardcore badass ladies jacket. And when I look at it, I see a vintage distressed leather that's done in black, 1.2 mil. You're getting SaS-Tech armor, which is that molecular armor. And the nice part is you get that distress factor that comes in a black. There's also going to be a brown. You can see Deidre to my left. She's wearing a size 38, and the way it sits on her frame, it has a light articulation to it. And again, it just has that extra update in the style side, and the devil's in the details here. You could see it across the front with your REVIT City Collection style snaps that are spring loaded. You can see some of these stitched areas that create those raised details and accents. You're going to see that quilting along the shoulders as well. Now, Deidre, zip it down, zip that YKK down and snap it back for me and give me a shot of what it would look like if you open it up. This is the other thing I absolutely love about the Bellecour. They really spent a lot of time on these internal details, and when you started to open the jacket up and change its configuration, you're going to see that asymmetrical, almost city or cafe inspired style come through. See the asymmetrical stitching on an angle on the inside. You have a pocket that you weren't expecting to see. Even the way the loop back is done on the collar, it all works really, really nicely together. Now, quick note on sizing. Deidre's going to be 5'8", 140. She has an athletic build. She's wearing a size 38, and it fits her spot on. You notice she has plenty of length in the arms. Again, you can see it with that articulation, and you see how it sits on her frame. Now, Deidre has an athletic build, but her shoulders aren't overly broad, but you do get a little bit of the SaS-Tech armor that protrudes, and there is a little bit of quilting on the side of the shoulder as well as on the top, just tying it together and completing that line. Remember, use the size chart. If you have any questions, give our Lady Gear Geeks a shout, and as always, we're going to ship for free over $39 if you have any questions. Now, as I walk through the rest of the Ladies Bellecour, click right there, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback. I'd love to hear what you think as I dive into it. You know, we've talked about the details in the front, we've talked about the YKK zips, the spring-loaded snaps, and the fact that you can really wear this jacket because it's unlined in that spring and fall side of things. In the summer, there's no direct venting, there's no perforation, so it depends on your temperature tolerance. And then if you want to beef it up into the winter, I would say that my one gripe with this jacket is I think it makes a perfect candidate potentially to have that thermal vest liner, and they didn't include it. So again, just a basic satin lining. Love to see that vest that maybe allow you to stretch it further into the winter. But again, every day, day in, day out, even when you're off your bike, it creates that style that's going to work with a lot of different jeans and t-shirt configurations on a motorcycle. Now, look at some of the other nuances here on the front. Notice, nice roll at the collar for comfort. We talked about the snapback, the loop back, and we talked about the asymmetrical front. Moving down, you're going to see angled hand warmer pockets. And then even when you get into the sleeves here, you're going to see the vintage leather has that nice distressed feel to it. And then they did not cheap out when it went to the cuffs. So you're going to have your spring-loaded snaps there. You're going to have your gusset back cuffs here. And again, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's CE rated because I don't believe they told me it was. But again, a lot of these features are the types of things we see go into CE rated motorcycle jackets from REVIT or from a lot of other Euro manufacturers. Now, Deidre, turn and face away from me. If we look at the side, remember your CE rated SaS-Tech, which is a molecular armor that when you introduce shock, it's going to become rigid. When your body heat hits it, it's going to allow it to mold for you and stay comfortable. It also gives you a great chance to stay low profile. So that's in your shoulders. Notice that there's a little bit of that padding, as I said, with that accent stitching, double stitched here, triple stitched down the main connection seam. You get into that elbow and forearm, more SaS-Tech armor. Again, lightweight, low profile, but it's going to do its job. It's an upgrade. SaS-Tech is out of Germany, and it is one of the standard setting armors that we've seen in the last decade in motorcycle protection. Now, if Deidre moves her arm up like that, you're going to see there's no elasticated panel here, so there's no gusset there if you're really actively, dynamically riding on your bike and depending on how you're built. But again, that's going to be based on your body shape. But as you move down, you do have this kind of kidney belt aspect where you have a gusset at the bottom and you can cinch it down depending on the flare of your waist or the flare of your hips, and depending on how you're shaped, you have some great adjustability there. Now, Deidre, turn the face backwards there for me and pull your hair. There you go. If you look at the top here, there's that nice leather roll. Remember, it will take a back protector. That's going to be a Seesoft type RV, and as you move down the jacket, you're going to see basic REVIT logoing, and that's the only place outside very smallly printed on the buttons that you're going to see it show up. I love that. They made this jacket, which is really that crossover casual piece. They used a lot of restraint. A lot of times we see in Europe, there's logos everywhere. Here in the States, we want things a little bit more subtle, a little bit more muted. You've gone the distance on the style design and the 1.2 mil vintage cowhide, and now they've just given you that baby papa leather. Now, I don't know where they could have worked reflective into it. Maybe a little blacked out pipe here or there, or a blacked out stitch, but that's the other thing on this jacket. There's not going to be reflectivity, so that's extremely important to you. Remember, that's not going to cover that base. So remember, as you get down here towards the drop seat, you're going to see a lot of accent pulling it together. Some of the stitching there creating that detail. There's a short connection zipper inside that will work with any REV'IT pant with a short connection zipper or the Safeway belt. There's also a jeans loop, so it's going to allow you to keep it in place. Come back around to the front for me there, Deidre. Now, as Deidre comes back around and unzip it all the way, you notice the flap down here along the front. That's going to keep the bottom part of that zipper out of harm's way from your bike and your paint. And if Deidre opens it up right there, you're going to see it's that nice satin liner. Again, basic, lightweight. You're not going to be overly hot in it when the spring starts to warm up. But in that summer, remember, there's no direct venting, so you're not getting the benefit of the perforation of their direct vent through. Let me open this side really quickly too. There's your pocket here along the right side on the inside of that. Again, basic on the inside. We see that from a lot of these more vintage styles. You can zip it back up for me, leather jackets. So remember, the Roamer is going to be about $50 less in the REV'IT collection, and that's going to be a little bit more basic and traditional in its design. This is your classic asymmetrical front, a little bit more rock and roll style, a little bit more cafe inspired. I'm a big fan of it, and from there you go into the Ignition 2, which is really a hardcore technical piece, which is very, very different. It's waterproof, different seasonality. So remember, ladies, the next step in your journey is to click right here and read other lady rider reviews at RevZilla.com on the Bellecour. You don't have to take my word for it. As always, we're shipped for free over $39, and if you want to talk to a lady gear geek, give Deidre a call. See us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.